And we're off. We are up. The caffeine has kicked in and it's 6 a.m. in the morning, starting to get light, and it is day 11 of the pod. So I'm just out, up at it. The caffeine has kicked in and we've got a ridiculous, for those who are watching, a ridiculous winterized cap on the head with the dog ears covering my ears because it's windy. And we've got the AirPods, the cleaned, wax-free, earwax-free AirPods in. So hopefully this is going to work. We're just getting away from the wires. I listened to the episode back yesterday briefly, and there's some sort of rustling, crackling noise, which can be very disturbing. So I thought, right, let's not just try the portable microphone, plug-in microphone, Bluetooth. Which dropped out the other week, which you'll see on the episode, mic drop, with a picture of me dropping a microphone as a thumbnail. We had to re-record it in the evening after 45-50 minutes, so that was quite interesting. So we've got the AirPods in. So just a quick update. I want to get to class early today. I got there bang on time yesterday, 8 o'clock. Obviously new routine, using the car, checking in, having breakfast, having to iron the uniform, have a shave, and I've been off for 2 weeks, so we're out of routine, a new change. So I got there at 8 o'clock. This was on the course of the new job, day one, week one, and then a lot of the materials the same, different instructors, a little bit more technology they're using, which is quite good, some touchscreen stuff, and some software, which was really good. And last night I got back home about 8 o'clock in the evening, and I was working on the workbook of the education and training level 3 qualification, which I've already got. They've changed its title to education and training, so I'm going through it, and also I'm going to do the coaching questions as well to get that qualification again with a new title. And then I'm up to speed, up to date with currency, etc. And there's wind blowing a little bit. Let me just put my flaps down a little bit better on my hat. So I was there obviously till about 7-8 o'clock, trying to answer the questions around the class, because the workload's going to start stacking up. So I've got to work Wednesday evening, so I've lost Wednesday evening. And then on Thursday morning, we've got the present back, which is the lessons. So we've got a skill-based lesson. Might be hand signals, might be tying a Windsor knot, and some maybe putting a tourniquet on, etc. So that's going to get issued to us this morning. We've got a day of how to conduct a lesson refresher for me, so we got that. The point is, I've got to get the questions in on Wednesday night, the first lot, and the difference is, compared to the course that I was on before, a couple of years back, and I was teaching, as I mentioned yesterday, and just a reminder, or for those tuning in first time, I've started my new job yesterday back at my old place, which is in a classroom teaching, training the trainers, and the course syllabus has changed slightly, so I'm just refreshing and being current and competent prior to going in and teaching students the material. So tired again today, nothing new. With the last few weeks worth of efforts, A quick shot of caffeine's kicked in already. Had some water, caffeine, did my journal. And yeah, it's going to be quite an intense, starting to feel it already. Obviously it's using some of the brain power, and as I wrote in my I think day 96 journal, I started my Vex King daily journal 12th of January. For whatever reason I started on the 12th of January, probably on the back of a chest infection illness for 10, 12, 15 days over the Christmas festivities, which was not pleasant, as I watched my wife look after a 5-year-old and entertain her for 8, 10, 12, 16 hours a day, do morning routine and bedtime routine, and I was just sort of laid chinned on the couch sleeping and sipping water. Anyway, we're back from that. That was just a little bit of burnout, stress, and yeah, we was man down. But anyway, so 12th of January started the journal, and I've talked about this on previous episodes, and I'll do a morning routine and an evening routine, starting off with the evening routine episode, just to share what I'm doing at the moment, how to optimize creativity, productivity, flow state and cellular energy is what my goal is. It's what a lot of people's goals are, probably trying to fight to maintain their energy levels without taking too much and overdosing on caffeine. Caffeine's not a bad thing. I suppose everything's okay in sort of fairly small doses, depending on what people's plans are. So starting to feel it a little bit now on the course, and I've only done day one. Pressure's going to start stacking up, obviously, because I know what's coming on the course with the education and training questions, which is only a level 3 level, whereas you're looking at degree level 6, master's sort of level 7. I've got a degree in leadership management. That's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm not academic at all. I don't write well at all. It's a limiting belief. I couldn't read well. I didn't believe I could read well. Until about, I do need to go back into the archive and find out when I did the course. But until about 10, 12, 13 years ago, when I did a course called Neuro-Linguistic Programming, NLP, practitioner course, with a good friend of mine. His business is called performancepeople.org. Mark Woodhouse, ex-British military, Army Physical Training Corps, who's been, I think, 20 years in business now. So yeah, really people performance and leadership and learning company here in the UK. With Bill and Dougie and a few others, consulting, and basically changed my life. Bold statement, and I've give Mark a testimonial on this. Going back to the reading from when I went to school in the early 80s. I'm 48 now, so, and learning styles and teaching styles was not really talked about or identified, like your ADD, ADHD, attention deficit, hyperactivity disorders. Yes, they've probably all been around, but they're more so in the forefront now and talked about, hence learning styles, teaching styles. And the course I'm on with work, and this is what we teach across defence trainers anybody who's teaching one lesson to 101 lesson across the training space within the MOD, I've got to come to the school I'm at that I'll be teaching at, either do a 3, 5 or 10-day course, which I'm on the basic course at the moment to teach. So it's built on constructivism by Jeff Petty, who's a legendary educator on constructivism, and it's taking new learning, new material and old learning and experiences from what's in people's minds and pulling information out of them by facilitating the lesson, by just sort of setting the scene and then asking them to do the work, go into the archives, go into their previous experience, and with the new learning and the old learning and experiences, that constructs together like neurons in the brain, called constructivism. And not only is it just the teacher, the instructor at the front of the room giving a set of instructions and giving the answers away, then you let the room and the groups, and there's different ways you can do that. We're going to be looking at that in a few days' time, different methods, how you can extract information. For an example quickly, if my memory serves me correct, we got one of the teaching style behavior techniques is called snowball, whereas you've got groups or a group, and you basically give them a task. Right, your task is to do this, this and this, and then off you go. You've got 5 minutes, and then you're going to be presenting back the answers, your findings, and then you ask individuals. Let's say there's a group of 5, you then ask number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 to present back. Then what you do, you let's say put them into 2 groups, 3 groups, number 1 and 2 together, 3 and 4 together, and number 5, let's say, on his own or their own, and then they collaborate a little bit more, discuss and see if they've come up with anything else. And they then come back and feedback. So 1 and 2 feedback together, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, and then 5. And then what you do collectively, you put all 5 of them together, they have a couple of minutes on it, and then they all present back, and that's called the snowball effect, and it just enhances learning, retains information, and it's constructive. Oh, I was going to hit the wind. I'm just going to turn about because the wind's kicking in, so I've just got the floppy hat down. So yeah, so that's the teaching method that we're going to be looking into. But the I forgot what I was saying now, so it'll come back to me. Watch what happens in a second when you don't think about something. So I just took a quick selfie. So yeah, so it's getting quite intense. What I was saying, I think, because I know what's coming. Obviously I've got the questions to submit, which I've done 3. I think there's about 5 or 6. We get the rest of the lessons today, so I've got to get them nipped tonight, run them through sort of Grammarly. That's what I was saying, sorry. I told you what happens when you take your mind off what you're trying to focus on and say and just move back. So I struggle with reading and writing, so I've got to work 2, 3 times as hard than a lot of people, and that limiting belief I was talking about, that the course NLP Unlocked, that cost me a couple of £1,000 10-12 years ago, that my wife attended as well. Her work paid for hers, which was great at the time, and we did it through Mark and Performance People. Removed a limiting block in my head that I was thick, I was stupid, and I've already mentioned that I've got a BA Honours in Leadership Management, that I did a couple of years ago. That should have took 1 year, which took me 2.5 years. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I've done some pretty cheeky, hard stuff, which I'll share at another time. But really, because I'm not, I was academically challenged, and that limiting belief came from school. Okay, I remember being put in a special class, special bus, if you like, and sort of sectioned out with a few others, and due to attention span, boredom, I wasn't playing up, I wasn't the naughty kid, I had good attendance records, but just probably what it was back then, whatever it's my personality, my brain type, and back then in the 80s, early 80s going into the 90s, learning styles, teaching styles, it was probably always been around, but more so today, and the more tailoring for the learners, the students' needs, and that's what we are within the role I'm going into. We focus on the 5 main, they call it SPLDs. Those are in the teaching sphere or arena. Definitely within the UK, we focus on many of them. There's many, and a couple is dyslexia, dyscalculia, Earl syndrome, dyscalculia, dyspraxia, dyslexia, and it's about identifying the learner's needs. And the dyslexic obviously mixes up their letters and words, dyscalculia numbers, and it may be the background of the, let's say, PowerPoint slide or the colour paper that they write on affects their learning, which stresses them out, and the more stressed about trying to pass a test or get the information down so they can pass an assessment or a test, where they should be trying to absorb the knowledge to be able to apply the knowledge. So so it's a matter of the learning style. So back then, like I say, singled out, and very sort of vivid memories of my childhood. I remember some friends, I think one little fight, we had a little scuffle for whatever reason, I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, so I think that then put the limiting belief in my head that I was thick, yeah. And so fast forward, the limiting belief for many years carried with me, and then until I did the NLP course, practitioner course, which is the basic foundation course, and basically it's a set of communication skills, learning how to actively listen, some tools and techniques, how to communicate effectively. You look at body language, you look at a little bit of hypnosis, some anchor points. It's really good, and I probably will revisit it and go to and also do maybe the master practitioner one, a couple of weeks long. I'll see what I can do now. I'm going back into education, but it's unlifted my reading belief. Now I've gone to extreme now, so 10 years on, I've averaged reading a physical book. I'm not talking on a device, a Kindle, or on a screen, which is different to reading a hardback book. And I've read on average at least 10-12 books in a year, and I've gone to extreme and obsession of personal development, which is also good and bad. But I do believe one of the first skills anybody should ever do, and I've got a 5-year-old at school, and it's quite interesting that the first priority of, I think, 3 out of the 4 schools we initially visited for the little one, their number one focus was reading, and then I think one of the other schools was sort of writing, I think, or something like that. But so it's interesting how, as later stage parents in their 40s with a 5-year-old learning to parent, and my little one is at school focused on reading and writing, and she's not reading yet, she's just connecting the words. I think they call it phonics. It's all new, but it's really interesting how they focus on that. and they've got learning support assistants in schools and stuff, whereas they didn't really have that back then. So anyway, I do struggle. So the point is, on the course I've got a set of basic education and training questions to answer. What is the role of a trainer, for an example? What are the responsibilities of a trainer, etc. This is sort of question 1 and 2. So I've got them sort of to get in, 3 or 4 questions to get in by Wednesday night. So I should be on, well, I will make the deadline, I've got to, because it's just going to snowball out of control and all the work's going to start slacking in. And then I'm going to stick in for the optional coaching questions that I've got a level 5 in coaching and mentoring, and this is the level 3. So again, I'm adding extra pressure on myself because I want to be current and competent, so I can confidently stand up in front of a syndicate when I'm teaching myself, and then I'll get no backlash there, or minimum limited backlash with regards to money. And yeah, so and also I'm confident in what they've gone through, and I'm current up to speed with the material and the questions, so, and the process, because it's all online now. You submit it all online, and one of the assurers, assessors, come back to you within 24 hours, which is quite good, so you can be doing it. So the point is, you need to start getting on it straight away before it all stacks up towards and just adds extra pressure on, which is what normally happens with things and people and me. So, but I know what's coming. So I've got the coaching questions to start going into. We've got coaching day on Wednesday. So that'll be a reminder, revise and refresher on the goal setting, the GROW model, the wheel, performance equation, all that. So I'm looking forward to that. And then also we get issued our, so I'll let you know tomorrow what my first teaching practice is of 3, one of 3. You've normally got I think it's a skills based one, you know, tying a knot, a Windsor knot. I've mentioned it earlier, I can't remember what I was saying. And then we've got a knowledge based one, and then we'll have a main one, which is maybe a little bit of combination of all next week. So I'll have the coaching questions, I'll have the normal education and training questions, and then also the lesson plans as well as teaching on Wednesday night. So I've lost Wednesday night. I'm up early, snoozed the alarm this morning at 4:30, struggling now to get out of bed. So my body's telling me I need to sleep. Nobody cares, nobody's watching, and nobody would know. You don't know if this is at 10 o'clock in the morning, which is not, because I'm not in the right dress, because I'll be on course, but it is, you know, just gone, well, it's coming up to probably nearly 6:30, so I'm just walking back now. So yeah, so that's coming, that's stacking up, but also you'd think, I got the weekend, but I work Saturday morning till sort of I'm up in the car from 7, land at my first venue to teach the weight management. Then I've got back-to-back lessons, a couple of classes I teach. I get home then around 1:30, 1:45, and then what I'm doing then this weekend, I'm helping my mate move from Surrey to where I am, up to Lincoln, which is a 3.5, 4 hour drive. So we've got a couple of vans, he's driving one, I'm driving one, and we're going to pack the van, get the vans Saturday afternoon, load the vans up Saturday night. We've got a little bit of workforce, and then Sunday morning we're going to shoot up to Lincoln, offload at that end, quick cup of tea. That's what we do in the UK, nice cup of tea or coffee. And then part 2 of this video, the iPhone came up warning storage full, so I've just panicked and gone okay, I need to go into something. So I've just clicked on manage storage and just deleted about 10 podcasts that I've downloaded. So obviously I've downloaded them without realising how downloads work onto the device, because I've got loads of storage on the iCloud. But I'm new at all this, so I'm new at sort of using I'm a nightmare with technology and bits and pieces, so if I can do it, anybody can do it. Remember previous episodes and the talk, the language on the street these days is imperfect action is better than no action. Just get out there and work it out, and that's what I've mentioned before. If this is the first pod you're listening to that I'm videoing, by the way, so it's all on my YouTube channel as well, so if you prefer to watch me walking around the streets on the move. And I've done an episode in the car, hands-free. I've done it on the bike, and I've done it also on foot, doing a recce from home to work and back, or one way on the foot prior to starting a new job, because that's going to be my new routine. So check out the episodes. Make sure you're commenting, drop some topics in there, subscribe, hit the follow buttons, and don't miss an episode as I document my journey for 365 days from episode 0 all the way up to hopefully 365 days. So yeah, so this weekend, back to this weekend, as I nearly home now, is up to Lincoln, and then I've got a lesson to prepare as well around that, so that'll be a nice Saturday night treat. But in my head I'm like, you know, how am I going to do it all? But I'm just breaking it down into bite-sized chunks. So if I've got 20 questions to answer, then I am breaking it down and doing a couple of questions. So I wanted to sort of get 3 or 4 questions answered last night, and about 7 o'clock, 7:15, I started to get tired. My head started to fall off, once you start getting tired, your body's really craving. You just need to listen to it and recharge. So I went to bed last night at sort of a bit of reading, 10-15 minutes, and then nodded. Sleep was okay, not brilliant, but again, you see the bags under the eyes as I'm starting to be tired. I'm not promoting that. I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm just being honest with you and authentic with you on, on this diary and this journal, really. So yes, so I'll work it out. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's 2 weeks of pain, of going through the learning and trying to keep my head on. I'm definitely going to have another cup of coffee when I'm in. I know it's not fixing the problem of sleep, but I've got to just fight through short-term pain for long-term gain. And then once I'm back through the back of the course, which is a week on Friday, that's the course finishing. A little bit of wind, I'm just pulling the ears in on the hat. People are thinking, who's this nutcase? Wait, normal's boring, yeah, normal's boring. So, yes, so we'll get through it, and then there'll be a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a small light at the end of the tunnel, looking forward to. So the point is just take the goal, the overall goal, break it down into actionable bite-sized chunks. And I think there's a book or there's a saying is how do you eat an elephant when it's that big? It's one bite at a time. We don't want to be eating elephants, you know, but elephants are nice. But yeah, I think it's a metaphor of how to get through stuff. So break it down into daily, hourly tasks. Stay off your devices, focus on the task at hand, which I've done. So yesterday was day 7 completed of the 7-day digital distraction, digital detox as I called it. Go back to the sea, day 1 to 7, and just follow that, how that went. Finished yesterday, so it's stopped now, even though I'm doing the habit. So yesterday, due to being busy, new routine, course, not wanting to, not having to, not want to get distracted, I then did it. I didn't check my phone notifications until I was tired, which is at 8 o'clock last night. Very quickly, I didn't want to be on the screens because it'll start turning off melatonin, the sleep hormone, which we'll talk about sleep, another episode. I wanted my melatonin to start kicking in, which it was probably about 4 or 5 o'clock anyway, because I'm up early, and the melatonin, sleep hormone, makes you feel tired, telling you to go to bed, and that's what you do when you get up early. So forgot what I was saying now. So yeah, the day 7 finished yesterday. This morning I've started to put my phone on flight mode, just so nothing can get through, and then I've not even turned my phone on this morning, so I'm still operating off of flight mode and recording this episode. I have bought a cheap watch, not confident in the alarm going off just yet, even though, so that's why I only have my phone in the bedroom. It's not good, and we don't do this in our house, but since my watch snapped, I couldn't get a replacement battery. I won't bore you, but it's a nightmare. You've got to get a hairdryer to heat shrink the screen off the capsule, etc, etc. So anyway, that is me. We are home now. Neighbours are seeing this silly hack because they're waking up at 6:30. So go back, see previous episodes. Don't forget to, if you're enjoying learning from, liking, subscribe, follow, make sure you add the comments into the comment section, and then I'll come back to you. And don't forget to finish, what's one thing you can take away from today that you can apply straight away in your own life, and number 2, who is the person you're going to share this with so they can benefit as well. And remember, when we're sharing is caring, it's also teaching them, we're teaching ourselves, and we retain the information quicker and for longer. So have a great day. Catch you troops tomorrow.